I'm Amy Austin Holmes. I'm a professor at the American University in Cairo and a fellow with the Woodrow Wilson Center in Washington, D.C. So we're here today for the event on after ISIS and the issue of the U.S. withdrawal. I'm going to be speaking about the importance of education in northeast Syria because, as you may know, the regime in Damascus did not create a single university in the Kurdish region of Syria, and I believe it would be important in the long term to think about the possibility of establishing an internationally accredited university in the Kurdish region of northern Syria, similar to, for example, the American University of Iraq, Soleimani, in the KRG, or the University in Duhok, which were created after the AUIS was created in 2006, so even before the war in Iraq had ended, during the period of the surge, etc., the university was being founded and built, and they opened the doors for students. So I think now we're discussing the issue of, the U.S. withdrawal and how to create a possibility of a safe zone or a buffer zone. But I think we need to think about the more longer term future of northern Syria and northeast Syria and the importance of education, because in order to have an enduring defeat of the Islamic State, we need to not just defeat the physical caliphate, but also the ideology of the extremist ideologies. And the best way to defeat those extremist ideologies is through education. And so this is why I'll be speaking about the importance of education and rebuilding schools and possibly a university in northeast Syria. I've written a number of articles on this issue, and I also published a book on the history of U.S.-Turkish security relations from 1945 until recently. So I've covered, 7 decades of U.S.-Turkish history and looked at the importance of this relationship as well, but we're now focused here on this event on Syria. Right, I mean, the situation now in the northeast, approximately 1/3 of Syria, where you have the SDF, the Syrian Democratic Forces, located, has been relatively stable and a relatively safe region of the country. I am worried that if the U.S. leaves suddenly, that this relatively peaceful and stable situation may be jeopardized, and that's why I think we need to think very carefully about how exactly this withdrawal should take place, and possibly consider maintaining access to the airspace over northeast Syria. Brett McGurk had mentioned that in his op-ed in the Washington Post. I've written about this in The Hill. I called for a no-fly zone, which we have de facto with Russia already, in the sense that we coordinate with Russia to access the airspace, and I believe it would be important to continue that kind of coordination over the northeast of Syria.